they need to go through the immigration process, but then you just told me a minute ago that there is no immigration process, that they can't become citizens.
I'm talking about creating one. I'm talking about, that's what I mean when I say comprehensive immigration reform. The richest 1% now owns more wealth than the entire middle class.
I'm Tyler Murphy, and today I'm going to be breaking down two specific debate tactics that are commonly used that bypass logic and show you how you can spot them for yourself. This is Texas State Representative James TALARICO. I debated him twice on Jubilee Media's Surrounded for undecided Texas voters. Okay, tactic number one is the emotional bypass.
The Vargases, they're beloved by their neighbors. They were dropping their daughter off at Texas Tech University. They were on their way back from dropping her off at school. I stopped them, detained them. They are still in a detention center. Hi, Tyler. Good to see you. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, definitely emotional story. It makes me feel horrible for those people. That know, I think there needs to be some better processes here. They're still illegal, right? They're not supposed to be here. So James TALARICO leads with a very heartbreaking story that, you know, makes us all feel very, very sad for these people. And it is heartbreaking. I am not trying to dispute that, but it becomes a shield for the logic. And if we look like we oppose his policies or his ideas, then it looks like we don't even care about this family. He's not debating immigration policy. He's debating your feelings, which are incredibly hard to argue against.
There needs to be a path to citizenship. That is not the same thing as amnesty, because you're right.
Is there not already a path to citizenship?
No, and that's the problem. They need to go through the citizenship process. They got to take the test.
I 100% agree.
They got to learn about our government. They got to learn about our culture. All that is so important. If they do all those things, and they've been here a long time and they've been contributing, I think they should be brought into compliance.
You just said they need to go through the immigration process, but then you just told me a minute ago that there is no immigration process, that they can't become citizens.
I'm talking about creating one. I'm talking about, that's what I mean when I say comprehensive immigration reform. It is building a process to where we can bring these millions of people living in the shadows into compliance, because there's not a process right now.
They can obviously come here the legal way. What he means is that there's no pathway to citizenship for families that are already here illegally. Absolutely need to help those of us that are hurting, but we also can't reward the exact behavior that we're trying to stop. If you break the law by entering illegally and then get rewarded with citizenship, what kind of message does that send? Like, break the law first and then we'll figure it out once you're inside? That doesn't make any sense. That is the emotional bypass. Tactic number two is the zero-sum trap. This one's sneaky because the stat he uses is technically true.
The richest 1% in this country now owns more wealth than the entire middle class. 3 dudes. I don't think that George Soros should pay less as a percentage of his income in taxes than his secretary. And that's what we have now. Let's just take an example, the big ugly bill. It gave $3 trillion in tax cuts to the wealthiest Americans.
Those 3 billionaires do own more wealth than the bottom 50% of Americans. But the trap is he makes wealth sound like a pizza. If Jeff Bezos takes a slice, then I don't get one. That's just not how wealth works. Wealth isn't stolen, it's created. When Elon Musk built Tesla, he's not taking money out of the economy, he's putting money in. He's creating cars, jobs, supply chains, charging stations. Millions of people choose to buy Teslas. That's wealth creation, not wealth extraction. So when he says billionaires pay less than their secretaries, he's mixing up capital gains tax rates and income tax rates. Those are two very different systems, but he conflates them to make it sound like billionaires pay less, which is very misleading. Another thing is he throws out the line $3 trillion for tax cuts to the wealthy. That's a big, terrifying number, but he leaves out that it's over 10 years. In debates, the person with the biggest, scariest number usually wins the vibe check, even if the math or logic doesn't completely check out. That's the zero-sum trap, making people angry at success instead of thinking clearly about solutions. Okay, little bonus tip for you. This is a part where I really messed up and I let him control the whole framing of the debate. But I'm just saying that, like, biblically this reinforces it. And so I feel like
I agree. I believe in borders. And I don't believe in amnesty.
I made my point and then I just stopped moving. I stopped talking completely and I didn't even know where to take the conversation next. And I let him control the next 2 minutes of the debate instead of asking more questions like I should have. Point is, you need to force people to define their principles. Don't just defend yours. I don't really think TALARICO's a bad guy. I think he genuinely does care about working class families and immigrant communities, but his solutions don't actually solve the problem. As Christians, we're called to be as wise as serpents and as innocent as doves. That means we can care deeply about people and care about the truth. That means we can have compassion on struggling families and for the rule of the law. If you want to go even deeper, I'm starting a Bible study on my Discord server, and definitely make sure you go watch the original debate and subscribe to Jubilee Media. I'm Tyler Murphy, and thank you for watching.